I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Let's do another roll call, please.
Wonderjum.
Here.
Heiblock.
Here.
Buck. Gardine.
Here.
Palmer. DeHaan.
Here.
Klein.
Here. Please note, as a courtesy to the audience and the Board of Education, to silence your cell phone. The public will only be able to speak during public comment is signed up. I have 2 forms. Are there any others coming out tonight? Okay. We'll move on to approval of agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? All right. Next item, the reports agenda. Let's start on this end. Amy.
Well, there is a lot of good news coming out of the Parks and Recreation Department. There is a large amount of funding coming out of the state for different park development initiatives, which are great because they can lead into what our students need in the parks, along with what our citizens need within the parks. So it's been really exciting to watch this. They've had some new leadership in the last year and a half, and it's Kim Chrisman, and he's just like super excited, and he's retired sort of, so he just like loves to pour his time into this. So it's been really nice to see that. Also, the Grandville Little League has helped. I was mentioning that earlier in our budget, that they have worked to make sure that we have a lot of irrigation system work done throughout the city, especially on our ball fields, which is nice because so many people are using our baseball fields, and it's not always just for baseball, right? We have all the neighborhood kids come out and do soccer games and just play and run their dogs and everything. So a lot of good stuff going on with the parks. They're also trying to do some safety measures for, especially for families around Heritage Park. So that big fishing dock is on the docket to be ripped out and rebuilt because it's not very safe. So they're doing a lot of great things for our families and kids in the city. So I'm very proud of them.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate you being on that committee. Jason.
Just a couple of things. Missed the last couple comments. So, congratulations to all the graduates and then even getting through school. That's been really cool, obviously, to see. And having a senior myself, it's been really fun and exciting. I know Brent and you as well can appreciate that. So for Brent and I, this is our first go around. You're an old hat, as well. So that's been fun. And I would also say I think I was talking to Roger about this, but I'm just unbelievably pleased and proud of the student athletes we have this year. I think it's been such a successful year across the board. The spring was just highlighted it with a lot of great finishes by our sports teams, and just hats off to the teachers and coaches and like I said, the student athletes and parents that make it all happen. And I personally think the investment that we've made in like our strength and conditioning coaches and so forth has really made a big help our sports teams make big strides in being competitive and ultimately enjoying their time on the sports field. So I think it's been really cool to see over the last few years. That's all I got.
Thank you. Good.
Nothing new to add. I just echo what Jason said, but nothing new to add.
Nothing.
Thank you. Christy.
Just remembering back on graduation, I don't think we've spoken about that, but the band was tremendous. And I just thought the admin did a great job. Just very well orchestrated and organized, and they just did a great job. In addition, there was a special on the news about mental health, and that was on Memorial Day. Wood TV dedicated 30 minutes to that. So we did have a student representative on that she talked about. It was about TikTok and social media, and that was Elena Organic, and quite a great young lady who I believe will go really far. And so that was really kind of good experience, and they did feature some other folks on that special too. In addition, just a side note that the suicide prevention hotline will be changing to a 3-digit number starting in July, and that will turn to 988. So I know that Grandville's on top of it to begin to definitely publicize that important phone number. And hats off to our district for following the mandate, and that would be that all students did have the suicide prevention hotline on their ID. So it's all good to save lives.
Okay, good. Thank you for that and for all you do for mental health in our community and beyond for looking at it all. For my report, I'd like to acknowledge that today is Juneteenth observed, which is the second year of it being a federal holiday. A great day to do acts of service in our community, but also to reflect on our history as a nation and the celebration of freedom for enslaved people in our country as they were freely integrated into our communities as they should have been in the first place. So happy to celebrate Juneteenth today. I had the day off of work. We did lots of moments of observation in our company. I took a break and spent some time with one of my kiddos that needs some extra time. So it was nice to have that pause even to go with our family in a long car ride. We went and flew an airplane today and learned all about Kent ISD's aviation program. So we're really excited to dig into those as well. Speaking of educational programs, I was really happy to go to graduation. It was such a fun experience for the students this year because we just haven't had the full-fledged thing in a few years. And I've been going to lots of open houses, one last one this weekend. But I've been observing and watching the kids talking, and you see a different, I had two graduates in 2020, so I've been watching how it's affected them for the last 2 years and watching the group today and just how much they've been bonding and talking about plans and thinking of the future. And we didn't have a lot of comments about the future in 2020 in my household. It was a real struggle, like they couldn't see that coming because they were stuck in where they were at. So it's fun to see the change in things. So thanks to the whole community for coming together and celebrating. And we continue to celebrate. This week I went on the building tour at the middle school. Wow. I have all sorts of pictures I want to share with you guys, but just an amazing facility. I happened to go on the tour that Ken was on too, so it was fun because he was just running around like a kid at Christmas, taking pictures. He had a tape measure. He was measuring spaces. I was like, you trying to get a bigger desk, Ken? It was great. The facilities for education are phenomenal. The rooms are bigger. The windows are huge. We know the research on daylight, but then they're also safe too. We talked about all the safety features, so I'm really excited about that because I know that's an important thing for us to consider. But the gymnasium, it's enormous. And the track above it for the kids, all I could think was like, this is great for athletic events, but when you have a kid who's having a meltdown or an emotional moment, to be able to take them up on that track and walk them around to get the energy out, to just let them have a moment, that would be so amazing. 1/8 of a mile all the way around the whole thing. So it was so much fun to see all the opportunity that's coming together there and the experiences our kids are going to have making that transition in a few years over to that building. So thank you for that. Thank you. It's a lot of work, and I just am in awe when I go there and see like what it started at, where it's at today, and where it's going to be. And thank you to the community for funding this project. It's really important for our community. Roger.
Sure. A lot of the things I was going to say have already been said, so I'll keep my brief. Thanks to GMB and OAK for working with us to put that tour on. It was a great tour, and it is very exciting to see what that building is turning into with a little over a year to go. Once we get to that point where it is finished, we'll have a ribbon cutting and an open house. Really looking forward to that. Also, the Grandville Early Childhood Center, Early Learning Center, trying to get you guys in next week maybe. So I'll let you know a day and some times where if you get a chance you can pop in and check that out. So yeah, other than that, we're focused on next year here, and we're doing a lot of hiring and planning for a lot of great things. So really looking forward to it.
Thank you. All right, we don't have any old business. Moving to the consent action agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent action agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? All right, moving to the regular action agenda. Our first item is approval of the master agreement full year administrative assistant contract. Let me make sure I get the right one here. Here we go. It is recommended that the board ratify and officially sign the master agreement between the Full Year Administrative Professional Association Union and the Grandville Public Schools. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
And I'll turn things over to Mr. Philo, and he'll give you a summary of that agreement.
Exactly similar to our teachers and our other agreements. It's the 4% increase in year one, year four, year two, and 2 for year three. Also, the increase in their non-medical costs, which is something that we very interested as well. What you'll notice if you read back, I believe that it's included in your packet. If not, I can give you a copy. On the last appendix, we put together some additional pieces that we've learned over time that we can actually include for our full year folks in order to be competitive in the market. So we're including some annuity and then also some longevity increases for them as well. Helps us to stay competitive and still be a district where we're asking our newest employees to show us what they can do before they receive those increases. So that's been a large question that we've been asking, particularly from our full year employee group. We're looking to hire some to work in this building or like Cheryl who works at high school. Is what types of annuity pieces can you provide? What additional pieces are available for us in order to be competitive in the market? So we're excited to be able to bring that for them. See meaningful increases and help to retain employees that are really good.
Hey, John. Number one, this is awesome to do that. With the other groups, they all got, I'm going to call it a stipend. Is there such a thing for these people as well?
We didn't include the stipend because we included the longevity and the annuities.
Okay.
Those are definitely more meaningful pieces. And with our other groups, we included those as more gap payments where they're not being paid during those times. And these employees being full year employees, we felt the addition of the longevity would be an even bigger bump for them than the individual stipend.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do a roll call vote, please.
DeHaan.
Yes.
Highborn.
Yes.
Palmer. Wonderchild.
Yes.
Gardine.
Yes.
Buck. Yes. Klein.
Yes. Motion carries. Our next item is the food service office construction. It is recommended that the Board of Education authorize Owens Ames Kimball Company to issue a letter of intent in the amount indicated to the contractor listed pending confirmation that all requirements of the contract documents have been met. Upon receipt by OAK of all appropriate documentation, it is further recommended that the Board of Education award a contract to the contractors as specified below. We have earthwork, these are tiny printing. Earthwork at Fisher Item Excavating at $56,300, concrete at Shepherd's Concrete for $95,200, masonry for JK Masonry at $119,743.
Good girl.
Metals at Custom Steel for $43,100, general trades at Vandercoat Construction, $73,200, roofing at J. Stevens, $59,900, aluminum glass and glazing, Lakeshore Glass, $19,590, flooring at Rietzma Associates, $4,350, painting, H&H Painting, $4,899, fire protection at Total Fire Protection at $5,638, mechanical and plumbing, Advantage Mechanical Refrigeration, $73,105, and electrical at Excel Electric, $38,600. The qualified bid package from the contractor specified above, including alternate totals, $594,230, contingency of $59,423 is included, bringing the project total to $653,653. How did you manage that exact duplication of digits? That's great. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
All right.
So background, as you can see, we have people who share offices, and it's a very limited space. So this is going to really not only increase our office space, but also our storage space, which is greatly needed there. And anything you want to add, Heather?
Yeah, I just included a visual of the floor plan, but I also wanted, let's do this. So you could kind of have a better idea of, so this is the trash, there's a couple docks here and then a trash compactor here and a sidewalk. And so basically this is already a firewall, which is very handy for us to add on. The offices will come out here. That's the area. We'll have a couple parking spaces here. And we are redoing, over here is where the dumpster sits. So we're redoing that pad and going to enclose that as well.
You've probably got the last bit of grounds that you can build on without having some special variance from the state. So, my hat, this comes off to you. Well done.
To the inch.
You know, it's always interesting to see the bids and see variances. And it almost appears to me, and maybe I'm completely off, whenever I see bids that are tight, the specs were really good. And then when they start to deviate, maybe there was some interpretation probably on the estimator's side. But for general trades, there's a significant swing here.
Not like that across the board. There were a lot of almost doubling of estimates.
I would say I agree with Bob, because you think like the things like concrete, right? It's all product, right? And so their bids were really close, but you're right, the skilled trades were the ones that were kind of surprising to me because
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So, can I get what was the big difference there?
Yeah.
I don't care who answers.
I'll let you,
Who
yeah,
set
go
up a
ahead.
better price, but we want to know why.
Yeah.
So Vander Cody Construction's actually already working in the district on some projects, so they went after it pretty aggressively, honestly. The market's still pretty competitive, even though the pricing's up a little bit. I mean, reflective of how many bids we got per category. So we did hold post bids with GMB and Arlen and OAK, just make sure that they met all the specifications and all the items they were supposed to have, so they did.
So do you think we got it favorable because they are doing the 7, 8
It's a nice sized project where it's not too big, a contractor can come in, get their stuff done, and still be able to bid on other work. We're starting this fall, so that really opens up some availability for them too, so.
Okay.
Does it ask, when's it scheduled to start and end?
So we're starting this fall and we'll be wrapping up in the springtime.
Wintertime is, people are looking for more work usually.
Yep. So, advantageous that way as well.
That was the only thing that really struck me, because everything else is, to me, it's pretty tight.
Like earthwork.
Yeah.
The range there, 109,000 up to 56,000.
Yeah.
Same dirt, isn't it? It's not getting imported from somewhere, is it?
Define
It's
as
not
French.
purified dirt, is it? Okay, just checking. Any other questions? Comments? All right, let's
Nice
have
job.
to take a roll call. Yes, thank you very much.
Palmer, Gardine,
Yes.
DeHaan,
Yes.
Buck, yes. Wonder Jones,
Yes.
Claiborne,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes. Motion carries. Actually, I'm gonna pull a piece of paper out here. Our next one is the 2021-2022 budget amendment, which we just reviewed. All right. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolutions within the 21-22 final budget booklet as presented for the following funds: General Fund, Food Service Fund, Student Activity Fund, Capital Projects Fund, Sinking Fund, Capital Projects Fund 2013, 2015, 2019 Bond Fund, and the Capital Projects Fund 2020 Bond Fund. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Anything to say? I know we just talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I really, I don't have anything additional to say about it, other than, sorry for the goldenrods, I had grabbed the wrong fund balance. I had grabbed the prior year actual instead of the final, on the proposed piece, which would be the next one, so. But that's the only difference there. All the rest of the documentation that followed that resolution was correct, it was just the fund balance was incorrect on the resolution itself. So.
Any other comments or questions? All right, let's do another roll call.
Wondergen,
Yes.
Palmer, Highborn,
Yes.
Buck, yes, Jardine,
Yes.
DeHaan,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes. 2021-22 budget amendment passes. Let's move to the next one, 2022-2023. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolutions within the 2022-2023 budget booklet as presented at the budget hearing on June 20th, 2022 for the following funds: General Fund, Food Service Fund, Student Activity Fund, Capital Projects Fund, Sinking Fund, Capital Projects Fund, 2013, 2015, 2019 Bond Fund, Capital Projects Fund, 2020, 2022 Bond Fund, Debt Fund. We just received some information on. It is further recommended that the mills to be levied on properties located within the Grandville Public School District will be General Fund at 16.8422 on all non-homestead properties. That's a Headley rollback from 18 mills. Capital Projects Fund, Sinking Fund at 1.3521 mills on all properties. That's a Headley rollback from 1.4 mills. And the Debt Fund at 5.0500 mills on all properties. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And just to comment, I'd like to thank Heather and Kayla. They do an outstanding job, and I know a lot of time and effort and hours go into this, and we just greatly appreciate it because, you know, everything is so transparent. It always is, and greatly appreciate it.
Very much so. And hello to Kayla as well, because we got to tour the building together too. Any other questions or comments? All right, one more roll call.
Wondergen,
Yes.
Highborn,
Yes.
Buck, yes, Jardine,
Yes.
Palmer, DeHaan,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes. 2022-2023 budget adoption is carried. All right, so our final portion of the evening is public comment. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. We want to remind you that we have a 5-minute period of public comment. Each person will be called up. We have 2 tonight. And that Mr. Highwar here will take care of the time and will give a 1-minute warning at 4 minutes to remind you. Please make sure that your comments are respectful, that you are speaking to the board, and that none of your comments will violate the rights of others under the laws of defamation or invasion of privacy. And if you're unsure of that, just maybe consider running by what you want to say to your advisors before speaking here. All right. Our first person up to speak is Janine Jansma, followed by Tessa Jansma.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janine Jansma, and you have my information on file. So typically on that day we're going to come to these meetings, I sit down and I write what, I want to share. And today it just seems like there's so many issues in front of us. And so a lot of times when that's the case, I will default to my favorite way of writing, which is poetry. So I put my thoughts in a poem, and I'd like to read that to you. The world has gone mad indeed. Seeing this is key. Our children's very lives depend on our sanity. This is no time to be quiet. There's no more time at all to continue in compliance with a single mandate come fall. For you who decide these things, you would do well to hear, we will not succumb. There is nothing that we fear. The truth is on our side. Every lie will be made known. At the end of the day, all deception will be shown. The time is fast approaching where lies won't work anymore. Too many have awakened and see the need to restore the values of our Constitution that circumvent tyranny. This is where it's all going, and we shall remain free. Seeking power over others is not right use of will. Using power over our children under the guise they not fall ill is a travesty of infringement upon the autonomy of soul. For the ends never justify the means, no matter what the goal. The world has gone mad indeed, yet a reality check's on the way. Nothing can stop what is coming. The rule of law shall seize the day. Mandates will be a memory, school pornography a thing of the past. The world will no longer be mad. The healing from this will last. For God is still on his throne, indeed. Of this there is no doubt. The cleansing of our nation's heart is what this has all been about. The prayer the world is praying in every country on this earth is for the restoration of God in our lives to bring about humanity's rebirth. As whole and sovereign beings in a world that's finally made sane, we shall hear a heavenly hallelujah and know none of the struggle was in vain. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine. Next is Tessa.
Alrighty, it's been a little bit. My name's Tessa Jansma. It's been about a year since we started coming to these meetings. I tell you, the more I dig in, the more sickening it is. I've been focusing a lot on the books lately, which I'm sure most of you know. You'll be up next for the review of the book Milk and Honey that the committee, that I'm not sure who puts that together, but they decided we should keep it. So it'll be interesting to hear what you guys have to say about it, because it is pornography. And we'll just throw it out here. The definition of pornography is printed or visual material containing the explicit description or display of sexual organs or activity intended to stimulate erotic rather than aesthetic or emotional feelings. We have hundreds of books in our high school that are aimed at adults. The interest level is adults. Like, if we could look and maybe fix the review process of how we get the books to come in to our schools, because the awards, they don't mean anything. Like, we send our kids to school to be educated, not perverted. We already still don't do the dress code at the high school, which I implore some of you to stop by in the mornings on a nice hot day. On a cold day, doesn't matter. Like, there's over 200 books that are aimed at adults. And we have 22,000 books in the high school. Like, I don't have time to go through all of them. But somebody approved them. Somebody did. And somebody needs to be held accountable. Because we have pornography in our schools. There's books describing rape of children from their parents. I read you that one the last time. There's books with complete sex scenes with pictures to boot on it. The Watchmen, that book, it's a comic book. I hope you go through it. I hope you look in it. With 22,000 books in our school, how is there no method? You know, there's obviously no method to hold porn out. So how many pornography books do we have in there? Like, The agenda to sexualize our children is here, and we see it, and we say no. We say no. I know it doesn't seem like parents are still involved, but I promise you we are. We do our own meetings outside of here. We meet at least twice a month. We got things in the works. Like, this is unacceptable. I have been a walking advocate for Grandville for a very long time. I've done school of choice for 8 years. I've been without bus service just to come to this school. Grandville was held at a higher standard. And the more I dig in, the more disappointed I've been. And this has got to stop. This has to stop. Like, these are children that we're speaking of. Our children, my children.
1 minute.
I really hope come this fall, when school starts again, it's an election year, there's going to be restrictions and masks, I'm sure. And I'm sure the vaccine requirement's going to come. But if you guys feel that that's something you want to do, then just know we as parents, we will be demanding receipts. I need receipts on efficacy of any of what you're trying to put on our kids. Because it's all just BS. And yeah, this all ends very soon. I just hope you guys can all be on the right side of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tessa. The next board meeting of the Grandville Board of Education will be on Monday, July 18th at 7 p.m. at the Administrative Building. I'll call the meeting to close. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. 7:33.